During January, we take time to reflect upon and celebrate the life of Robbie Burns. Robert Burns is the national poet of Scotland. Born on the 25th of January 1759 in Alloway, Ayrshire, he wrote many lyrics and songs in the Scottish dialect. So every year, on the anniversary of his birthday, Burns suppers are celebrated across the world, where haggis is eaten and whisky is drunk, his poems are recited, his songs are sung. And today, Miss Docherty is going to be reciting one of his most famous poems, Tam O'Shanter. Enjoy.
Tam O'Shanter by Robert Burns. When Chapman Billies leave the street and dreary neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late and folk begin to tack the gate, while we sit boozing at the nappy and getting fou and unca happy, they think now on the land Scots miles, the waters, mosses, slaps and stiles that lie between us and our hame. Bar sits our sulky, sullen dame, gathering our brows like a gathering storm, nursing our wrath to keep it warm. This truth fand honest Tam O'Shanter, as he the air enechted canter. I'll dare one never a town surpasses for honest men and bonny lasses. Ah, Tam, had thou but been sae wise and ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice, she tell't thee well thou was a skellum, a blethering, blustering, drunken blellum, that frae November till October, a market day thou wasna sober. Thou sat as lang as thou had siller, that every naig was cad a shoe on, the smith in thee got unca foo on. That at the Lord's house, even on a Sunday, thou drank with Kirkton Jean till Monday. She prophesied that late or soon thou would be found deep drowned in Doon, or catched wi' warlocks in the mirk by Alloway's auld haunted kirk. Ah, gentle dams, it gars me greet to think how mony counsels sweet, how mony lengthened sage advices the husband from the wife despises. But to our tale. A market night, Tam had got planted unca right, fast by the ingle bleezing finely, where Reman swats that drank divinely. And at his elbow, Suitor Johnny, his ancient, trusty, droody crony. Tam lo'ed him like a very brither. They had been fou for weeks together. The night drave on with sangs and clatter, and aye the ale was growing better. The landlady and Tam grew gracious, with favours secret, sweet and precious. The suitor told his queerest stories. The landlord's laugh was ready chorus. The storm without might rear and rustle. Tam didna mind the storm a whistle. Care mad to see a man sae happy, e'en drooned himself among the nappy. As bees flee hame wi' lades o' treasure, the minutes winged their way wi' pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam was glorious, o'er a' the ills o' life victorious. But pleasures are like poppies spread. You seize the flower, its bloom is shed. Or like the snowfalls in the river, a moment white, then melts forever. Or like the borealis race that flit ere you can point their place. Or like the rainbow's lovely form evanishing amid the storm. Nae man can tether time nor tide. The hour approaches, Tam mun ride. That hour o' night's black arch the keystane, that dreary hour he mounts his beast in, and sick a night he tacks the road in, as ne'er a poor sinner was abroad in. The wind blew as 'twad blown its last, the rattling showers rose on the blast, the speedy gleams the darkness swallowed, loud, deep and lang the thunder bellowed. That night a child might understand, the deil had business on his hand. Wheel mounted on his grey mare Meg, a better never lifted leg, Tam skelpit on through dub and wire, despising wind and rain and fire, whilst hudding fast his good blue bonnet, whilst crooning o'er some auld Scots sonnet, whilst glowering round with prudent cares lest bogles catch him unawares. Kirk Alloway was drawing nigh, where geese and howlets nightly cry. By this time he was crossed the ford, where in the snaw the chapman smoored, and past the birks and meikle stane, where drunken Charlie brack's neck bane, and through the winds and by the cairn, where hunters fand the murdered bairn, and near the thorn, aboon the well, where Mungo's mither hanged hersel, Before him Doon pours all his floods. The doubling storm roars through the woods. The lightning flash from pole to pole. Near and more near the thunders roll. When glimmering through the groaning trees, Kirk Alloway seemed in a blaze. Through Ilkebore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing. Inspiring bold John Barleycorn. What dangers thou canst make us scorn. With Tippany, we fear nae evil. Wi' Uskwa Bay, we'll face the devil. The swat sae reamed in Tammy's noddle. Fair play, he cares na deals a boddle. But Maggie stood right sair astonished, till, by the heel and hand admonished, she ventured forward on the light, and, wow, Tam saw an unca sight. Warlocks and witches in a dance, nae cotillion brent new fae France, but hornpipes, jigs, strathspeys and reels put life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker in the east, there sat Auld Nick in shape of beast. A towsy tyke, black grim and large, to gie the music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and gart them skirl, till roof and rafters added dirl. Coffins stood round like open presses, and shod the dead in their last dresses. And by some devilish cantrap sleight, each in its called hand held a light, by which heroic Tam was able to note upon the haly table a murderer's banes in gibbet airns, twa span lang wee unchristened bairns, a thief new cutted frae the rape, with his last gasp his gab did gape. 5 tomahawks with blood red rusted, 5 scimitars with murder crusted, a garter which a babe had strangled, a knife a father's foot had mangled, whom his ain son a life bereft, the grey hairs yet stack to the heft. Wi' mair, o horrible and awful, which even to name would be unlawful. As Tammy glowered, amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they set, they crossed, they cleekit, till ilka carlin swat and reek it, and coosed her duddies to the wark, and link it at it in her sark. Now Tam, Tam, had they been queens, plump and strapping in their teens, their sarks instead of creashy flannin, being snaw white 1700 linen, these breeks of mine, my only pair that ince were plush with good blue hair, I would have given them half of my hurdies for a blink of those bonny birdies. But whether bedlams auld and droll, ringwoody hags would spin a foal, louping and flinging on a crummock, I wonder didna turn thy stomach. But Tam kenned what was fou brawly. There was a winsome wench in Whalley, that night enlisted in the corps. Lang after kenned on Carrick shore, for mony a beast to dead she shot, and perished mony a bonny boat, and shook baith meikle corn and bear, and kept the countryside in fear. Her cutty sark, o Paisley harn, that while a lassie she had worn, in longitude though sorely scanty, it was her best, and she was vaunty. Ah, little kenned thy reverend granny, that sark she coughed for her wee nanny, with 2 pund Scots, 'twas a her riches, would ever grace the dance of witches. But here my muse her wing maun cower, sick flights are far beyond her power, to sing how Nanny lap and flan, a supple jade she was in strang, and how Tam stood like in bewitched, and thought his very een enriched. Even Satan glowered and fidgeted fu fain, and hotched and blew with might and main, till first a caper sign another, Tam tint his reason a' together, and roars out, "Well done, cutty sark!" And in an instant all was dark, and scarcely had he Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legion sallied. As bees bizz out wi' angry fyke, when plundering herds assail their bike, as open pussy's mortal foes, when pop she starts before their nose, as eager runs the market crowd, when catch the thief resounds aloud, so Maggie runs, the witches follow, when mony and eldritch screech and hollow. Ah Tam, thou'll get thy faring, in hell they'll roast thee like a herring. In vain thy Kate awaits thy coming, Kate soon will be a woeful woman. Now do thy speedy utmost, Meg, and win the keystane of the brig. There at them thou thy tail may toss. a running stream they darena cross. But ere the quay stayed she could make, the faint a tail she had to shake, for Nanny, far before the rest, hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with furious ettle. But little twist she Maggie's mettle, ae spring brought off her master hale, but left behind her ain grey tail. The carlin caught her by the rump, and left scour poor Maggie scarce a stump. Now, wha this tale of truth shall read, ilk man and mither son, take heed, and how to drink you are inclined, or cutty sarks run in your mind. Think, you may buy the joys o'er dear, remember Tam O'Shanter's mare. To a Mouse by Robert Burns. Wee sleekit, coorin, timorous beastie, what a panic's in thy breastie. Thou needna start a wassy hasty wi' bicker and brattle. I would be laith to rin and chase thee wi' murder and prattle. I'm truly sorry man's dominion hath broken nature's social union, justifies that ill opinion which makes thee startle at me, my poor earth-born companion and fellow mortal. I doubt no whiles but thou may thieve. What then, poor beastie, thou mun live. A day my knicker in the thraves is sma request. I'll get a blessing with the lave and never missed. Thy wee bit hoosie, too in ruin. Oh, it's silly wha the winds are strewing, and neathin now to big and new, no foggage green, and bleak December's winds ensuing, baith snell and keen. Thou saw the fields lay bare and wast, and weary winter coming fast, and cosy here beneath the blast thou thought to dwell, till crash the cruel coulter past, out throw thysel. That wee bit heap o' leaves and stibble has cost thee mony a weary nibble, and thou's turned out for a' thy trouble, but house or hald, to thole the winter's sleety dribble and crinrich cald. But mousie, thou are no thy lane, improving foresight may be vain. The best laid schemes of mice and men gang after gly. verlees nocht, but grief and pain for promised joy. Still, thou art blessed compared with me. The present only toucheth thee, but och, I backward cast my ee on prospects drear, and forward, though I canna see, I guess and fear.
Happy Burns Day! 1,